Now we have a keynote speech here in Professor Izhar Uddin, who is a famous professor in India. I hope he has a mathematical model, and this is you will enjoy this speech. Glimpses of fixed point theory and its application. Professor Izhar Uddin, Department of Mathematics, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. Please.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Izhar Uddin, and I'm assistant professor at the Department of Mathematics, Jamia Millia Islamia. By training, I'm a basically applied mathematician, rather, or I'm not into the discussion of applied mathematics or basic mathematics, but I can say that by training, I am in mathematics. And the topic of my research during my early days of PhD is fixed point theory. So what is the meaning of the fixed point theory? But I want to share what I am going to do these days with my PhD students and postdoc students. So this is because I have assigned 10 to 15 minutes, so I will try to finish my talk in 15 minutes. So these are the only three basic points. What is the motivation, and what is the meaning of the fixed point theorem, and what is the meaning of what are the applications of fixed point theorems. So this is the focal point of my talk. What is the focal point of my talk is that fixed point. What is the meaning of the can I come there? If you If you are listening me, my voice is clear or not? If my voice is clear, so I can come here because I'm not able to see the screen from that point. Okay, so this is the focal point. So number one, so in mathematics, there are a lot of branches in mathematics. So one is a very interesting subject is metric space. And there is only one theorem which is called the Banach fixed point theorem. So I'm going to talk about this interesting theorem. Okay, so what is the meaning of the fixed point? So we have a map. So we have a map T. This is the map T, and this is the set X. So a map T is set X. So what is the meaning of a fixed point? A point of the set is said to be the fixed point if it is not changed under the action of the mapping T. So this is called the fixed point. So very simple. So Tx equals to x. If it is a solution of this equation Tx equals to x, this is called the fixed point. Graphically, you see that blue color is the graph of any function y equals to fx. And you can see the dotted line y equals to x. So the yellow dots, these are the fixed points. So in geometrical interpretation of the fixed point is that it is the intersection of curve and the line y equals to x. And these are the very simple example you can observe that. If we define a map from R to R in such a way that Tx equals to 2x, so it has only one fixed point. If we define a map Tx equals to x squared, it has two fixed points, 0. T0 is 0, T1 is 1. And if you define another map like that, Tx equals to x plus 8, no fixed point, Tx equals to x, so infinity many fixed point.
Hello.
So this is a very interesting and basic fixed point theorem, and it is usually in mathematics, it is the BSc undergraduate material. If f is a continuous function defined as closed interval a comma b, then it has a fixed point, and the proof is really interesting. So this is usually the extended version of the Brouwer fixed point theorem, which is a very famous result in the applied mathematics nowadays. And the statement is that any continuous mapping defined in closed unit ball of R has a fixed point. And this is a very famous result due to Polish mathematician Stefan Banach. Banach is a very exciting mathematician. A lot of theorems after the name of Banach in function analysis, in complex analysis also there. So this is a very interesting theorem, and one of the most applied theorem one can say that. The statement is that any contraction mapping defined in a complete metric space has a unique fixed point. So the idea of the proof is that it's simply iteration. And these are the examples to illustrate that. But what are the application of the fixed point theorem? So the first application of the fixed point theorem is in differential equation. There are a lot of models, there are a lot of mathematical models which can be converted by the means of the differential equation into the real life problem. So I have collected some of them. These are the first order differential equation, radioactive decay, population growth, limited resources, neutral law of cooling, and all others. So these are the some application of first order differential equation where we can apply fixed point theorem, or particularly Banach fixed point theorem. And these are the some examples of where second order differential equation, just like mass split system, damped harmonic oscillator, LCR circuit, beam banding equations, and car suspension systems, many of them. So Banach conduction theorem is going to be applied for this. Third order differential equation, a lot of fluid mechanics and curved beam problems and heat convention. But outside mechanics, this theorem has a very exciting application in economics and finance. It is a very exciting application of Banach conduction theorem in economics as well as finance. And because you know that in a equilibrium, in a market there are equilibrium points, and that can be established by the use of the Banach fixed point theorem. Signal recovery. If you have a distorted signal and you want to denoise, so fixed point theorems and fixed point iterations can play a very important role there. Image restoration. If we have an old image and we want to restore, we have old image, blur image, and we want to restore that image into better way. So we also can apply fixed point iteration process, and also the biological models. There are some interesting biological models, very famous, just like in the corona, spreading of the corona, and nowadays Alzheimer's techniques. So many of those models can be interpreted as nonlinear integral equations, and that can be solved by the use of the Picard iteration, and also some epidemic models. This is the very interesting. So, and also nowadays, because this conference is basically in the information science and mathematics department. So here you can also, in machine learning, it has a very exciting applications, expectation, minimization algorithm. This is because of the Gaussian mixture models, hidden Markov models, topic models, and particularly gradient descent, and there are neural networks and a logistic regression. So most of the time, these iteration processes and these iterative techniques can be converted into fixed point models. And also the Picard iteration. This is the very interesting iterations which can be involved as a implicit equation in variation, inference, and also. So these are some very exciting application. Only one theorem, which is called the Banach theorem. And also now these days, a very fascinating branch, which is called as a fractional differential equation. We usually have first order derivative, second order derivative, third order derivative. But nowadays, because of real life phenomenon, there are many physical and real life problems can be modeled by a fractional differential equation. What is the meaning? Half order derivative, 3/2 order derivative. So there is a very classical theory. So there is a classical derivative, means classical calculation, and the parallel is fractional calculus. So classical calculus, the fractional calculus, classical differential equation, the fractional differential equation. So a lot of real life models are better interpreted by the fractional differential equation. And there are a lot of definitions of fractional derivative, just like a Capito, Rimaldi value, and Abdullah Tangana and Bellino. So a lot of research is going on these differential equation direction. So fixed point theorem, particularly Banach fixed point theorem, are very applicable in solving fractional differential equation. I have collected some very recent references, and these are the very classical. You can observe that very classical philosophy of transaction of Royal Society, Gauss-Solitary factors, advanced indifference equation. These are the very high-rated Q1 journals, and fixed point theorems are very applicable to these. These are IEEE essays, and also these are very recently. And I am also doing with one of my students these work signal recovery. If, for example, we are giving a speech and we have a denoising, or we have a noise in our signals or in our speech, so by the means of the fixed point theorems, irrespective of the choice, our signal is continuum or discontinuum, so we can apply fixed point iteration for signal recovery, so that the signals should be recovered in such a way that it keep originality as well as should not be distorted. And also the image branding. For example, we have an image, we have a distorted image, and we want to, for example, we want to restore this picture. So this is the image. We want to restore this picture. So we can apply the fixed point iteration so that the originality of this picture should remain. The originality of this picture should remain, and it should not be distorted. So the fixed point iteration process are really applicable. With one of my PhD students, recently I submitted a paper in a journal of global optimization. What basically we do, we construct a new fixed point iteration. We took a picture by Gaussian matrix, we blur that picture and we apply that and we compare with the original picture, original image. So this is a very exciting, and also one of my friends, we have a MRI pictures. We have a MRI picture, CT scan pictures, and we want to extract the particular information is that. So when we enlarge the CT scan or we want to denoise that, so there are a lot of computation costs. So fixed point theorem, fixed point algorithm have less computation costs irrespective of either wavelength based methods or some other numerical method, just like finite element based methods. So these are the very applicable and most of the theorems banking on the Banach fixed point theorems. So this is some of the application is that because and also this particularly very exciting paper I saw. Asian option as a fixed point. The title is Asian option as a fixed point. It's a share market price. There are some strategies, some techniques. So Asian option as one of the techniques is that. So that technique can also be the floating price technique can also be determined by the fixed point theorems, particularly Banach fixed point theorems. And now the people are looking to generate the iteration so that they can predict after how much iterations and how much steps one can go the best optimal decision techniques to get the optimal price. So these are some of the applications of only one theorem, which is called as the Banach fixed point theorem and Banach iteration process. So because we are a little bit, I'm not going into detail of technicality, but if anybody is interested, I can tell the basic of Banach fixed point theorem, how it works, how it converges, and the convergence analysis banking on that. So this is something about application of Banach fixed point theorems in different direction. So as I assigned, so thank you.
Thank you, Professor Izhar. It's a very nice speech, and also it shows that again that mathematics is the foundation of our computer engineering, artificial intelligence, whatever we are looking into it. The mathematics has the foundation, and mathematics gives a very good intuition for research, for further improvement of our technologies. If you have any questions and anything, please.
So if you have any questions, so otherwise I have a query. It's very interesting, and I have one query regarding to say you have, talked about different applications. Maybe this could be used for this cognitive science when you have say some of the theories that it becomes solitons and all this, then when it becomes a soliton, it comes like that, when the memory is shaped or something is conceived. So whether it could be used there.
We have a very interesting research article in JOS Soliton Factors journals that one part of the brain where memory can be described by factors, and that factors can be generated by the sign function. But we want to, because we want to use another factors. So there is a in JOS Soliton factors we have that much interesting papers.
Okay.
So thank you very much for your particular suggestion. I will see.
Maybe I'll be interested in that.
Because we use the sign function, but we want to avoid that, because whenever we are going to calculate the fixed point of a sign function, so the iteration cost, the computation cost is very. So we want to change that. We want to change that.
What do you want? Sign function?
No, we want to avoid sign function.
Yeah, I got it. Without sign function, then what is your?
We are looking the alternatives, because
you
all
are
other
looking.
schemes, we are looking the alternatives.
Okay, I got it.
So if you get the alternative, that could be used there, that could not be used there.
Because whenever we are changing some logarithmic function or that, so the convergence analysis is going to be failed because of the singularity near the zero.
Okay,
So-
fantastic. Thank you very much. And